Consumer Health and Technology Coordinator at the National Network of Libraries of Medicine in the Pacific Southwest region. And all that means is that we have a department up on the 12th floor of the Biomedical Library, and our program is funded by the National Library of Medicine, but we are here at UCLA providing the services for the Pacific Southwest region. And then Julie has introduced herself. We might be calling on her to help us if we're going along and she has something to say. She's very knowledgeable about the resources also, so we may call on her to help us if we need to, and she'll be a great resource for you too.
Very cool. Thank you all for coming today. So we have an exciting agenda actually. So we're going to cover, hi, welcome. So some biomed subscriptions. So we'll take a look at some apps and sites that you can access from your mobile device thanks to UCLA Library subscriptions. We'll also learn how to connect from off campus. And Kelly will talk about some of the tools the National Library of Medicine has been developing, and so you can have a taste about what you can access. And then you'll also we'll demo some of these apps, and then you'll also, toward the end, have an opportunity. We have a couple iPads we can pass around as well. And I have some serial numbers for one of the resources I'll show you, Dynamed, that we can pass around. And also because you may be interested in downloading some other apps that we're not going to talk about today, Kelly will also provide some evaluation criteria that may be useful for you. So we'll also cover some additional resources and then briefly take a look at some trends that are developed, because this is a new and exciting field. All right, so first up, biomed subscriptions. There are 3 ways that you can access the UCLA subscription-based resources on your mobile device. There's apps, there's sites, and through the library mobile site and or app. So here is just a small sampling of some apps that you can download today toward the end of the class or later if you want to meet with us one-on-one. So this is just small, and it depends on which operating system you use. Some of you may have iPhones, iPads, Android phones, tablets. Some of these are also available for BlackBerry and Windows Phone. So you can install these by visiting Google Play Store or iTunes, again, depending on which platform you use. So we've created a detailed guide online with instructions, because some of these are more or less one-click downloads. Some of these require extra steps. I mentioned serial numbers earlier, so that's one example. The link is on the board, but we'll also show you the guide itself in a little bit. One thing to keep in mind as we explore these resources is that this is an evolving field. So what that means is publishers are working on developing these apps, creating new business models in this changing market. So we can hope to see new and more finesse products down the road. So it's a very exciting time, and I think you're at the right place. So the difference between apps and sites is that apps are typically pieces of software that you download onto your phone. Sites are often more device-friendly. They're more device-friendly than apps. And what that means is that they'll work on many devices. So the apps I showed on the previous page, some of them may only work for your iPad, iPhone, or Android, not so much Windows or BlackBerry, in case that's the device that you use. The sites will. So this is, again, a small sampling for the purposes of this class of what we have licensed for you that you can access. So we've hyperlinked these resources, and again, we're happy to email these slides. And but you can also access these links on the guide that we created online. Again, we'll show you that in a little bit. And so do not expect every site to be mobile optimized. What that means is that some of the sites will recognize the dimensions of your phone and realize that it's a smaller screen. So the look and feel will change. Don't expect all of the sites to be like that. Publishers do understand that not all, but almost all of them understand that there's an urgency to become more, have sites that are mobile optimized. So some are there, some are not quite there yet, but it's coming down the pike. So the third way to access these resources that we license for you is through the UCLA mobile site and the UCLA mobile app. So here's the site, here's the app. As you can tell, the interfaces look pretty similar. One of the differences is that on the site, there's an Ask a Librarian button, and then also the placement of the search. So there's a search field on the app. There's a search button here toward the bottom on the site. So the app is available, so the one on that side, is available for Android operating system and iOS, iPhone, iPad. The app and the mobile phone, again, I said that the interfaces are similar. Going deeper, the library IT division is also working on allowing you to access these full text sites and resources from the app. That's going to roll out probably in fall. For now, what you can do right now is access full text from the site. So not yet the app, that's coming in fall. Right now you can do the site though. And then you'd search at the bottom there. So we're going to go to the next slide here. So here we search JAMA. You can see the search results right here. And then currently it's easier to get full text, as I mentioned, through the mobile site. We'll demo this in a few slides. So one thing that you'll need is off-campus connection. So what this means is that to access the sites, you need to be an authenticated user. So some of you in here may have email addresses that are mednet.ucla.edu or sonnet. As long as you have a Bruin Online login, you're fine. So if you're newer, you may not be sure if you have it or not, but you're going to want to check. To create an account, you go to this website. So that's on the live guide as well. That's online. We'll go to it in a second. So Bruin Online, the campus ID, does not recommend proxy. You may have installed proxy onto your browsers on your laptops to get things off campus. Not so recommended for your mobile device. Instead, you can use your virtual private network. We have instructions online. I'll go to that in a second. So this provides not only authentication, but a secure connection. So if you're at your public library, a cafe, and airport, you won't have to worry about people snooping what your search is. So it's secure. So I'm going to go to the site now, and there's a number of tabs toward the top. They go across the top here. So you can connect to the sites that we talked about today and more, the apps that we talked about today and more, and then additional resources as well. So right now I'm going to go into the Connect to Resources tab here. So you can just have a peek at, if you need to install VPN on your device, this is the link to go to. And again, it's, if you have a Mednet or Sonnet, it's okay. This site will work, this top one right here. If you're on campus and you need, sometimes you're not sure if what's UCLA Wi-Fi or Mednet Wi-Fi or web or others, you can click here to see how you can get the most secure connection. So, because some of them are for guests.
Some of them, down in the front, it's a little hard to see this.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for letting us know.
Yeah.
And also, since there's a quick break, this yellow sheet has all of the links on it. And the one that she just is showing right now is the fourth one down, the mobile apps and sites for health and life sciences LibGuide. So just as an FYI, that's where we are right now, and you'll be able to access this later.
That's right. So that was the guide. It's a comprehensive tool for you. I showed you that some of the tabs, the detailed instructions is on there because some of these apps do require additional steps. So now we will switch gears. I'm just going to take the mic over to Kelly.
So as we move into this part of the session, we've chosen a quick video that will show you how you might be able to use these tools in a real life situation. So we'd like to go ahead and play this for you now.
Oh, he got me. I'm feeling nausea, muscle fasciculation, tachypnea, tachycardia.
Let me put you out of your misery, Pilgrim. PubMed says them ones ain't poisonous. You'll pull through.
Who was that stranger?
I don't know, but he left his mighty fine triangular pin what says free midline on it.
And for any of you who didn't grab a pen when you came in, there are extras right over here. So, yeah. So anyway, that was done by some medical librarians with a sense of humor, talking about one of the PubMed mobile tools that you can use. I don't know if it would actually tell you about that particular snake since it was a stuffed snake, but anyway, so I thought you might enjoy that. Well, the National Library of Medicine has really gone all out in producing these mobile tools that will access their databases and resources. So this is just a very small list of what's available, but they've created tools for health professionals, for researchers, emergency responders, and also for members of the general public. So it's really covering, everything and not everything, but almost everything that NLM provides for you. So there are a couple of tools to search PubMed. ToxNet is the toxicology resource that searches a whole number of environmental and toxicology databases. There are tools to search for drug information, including the Drug Information Portal, and one that I'll demonstrate in a few minutes called DailyMed. There are tools for searching HIV/AIDS information and a very nice app that is a glossary of terms for HIV/AIDS in English and Spanish. And then just an example of one of the emergency responder tools, which is called REM, the Radiation Emergency Medical Management Tool. And I'm not going to be demonstrating that, but if you have a chance, that's the type of tool that would be very, very useful to know about before there was ever a radiation emergency. And we're here at UCLA. We're in a big metropolitan area. If there ever were a radiation emergency, patients will be coming here. And, so that's the kind of tool that would help health professionals know what to do in advance, for managing, or understanding what the exposures were and so on and so forth. It's a really neat tool. Take a look at some of these when you get a chance. And then Medline Plus, for those of you who aren't familiar with Medline Plus, it is the premier consumer health information resource from the National Library of Medicine. Everyone's heard about Medline. They may not know so much about Medline Plus, but it is an excellent resource, Spanish, English, and also resources in about 48 other languages. So it's worth checking out. And there is a mobile tool for this. So right now, we'll go on. The National Library of Medicine created a gallery page. This is best if you look at it on your computer. But it's a nice collection of all of the apps and sites with descriptions. And then you can also, go directly in. Now, if you're on your mobile device and you access these, then it would just launch. If it says mobile site, it would just go to the web optimized site for this. If it says download, that means it's an app. So this is the most recent thing that NLM has come out with. They're calling it an app, but what it really is a guide to all of the sites and apps. And on the brochure that was on the table, and I have a couple of extras if there aren't enough, there's a brochure. There are two URLs on the front page here. The top one is for that gallery page that we showed on the last slide. And the bottom one is for this site. So if you have a mobile device, you would want to go to this site, and directly from here, you can get to all of the apps and all of the sites. And as you can see in these two screenshots, there are tabs across the top. So if you were looking, the one on the left is for the type, so you can either look at all of the websites or all of the applications. And it's a very easy way to just get there from those two tabs. The second one is device. Now I didn't show you a screenshot of that, but it breaks it down by the type of device. So if you have an Android device, you could choose just from those that were specific for your phone or your tablet. Or if you have an Apple device, then you choose from those. This screenshot shows what they're calling tags, but they're really the list of categories. So if you didn't know what resource you were looking for, or which set of resources, you can just look by the topic. And so we have toxicology, we have emergencies, diseases. Articles will take you to PubMed and some of the other resources. So that's a third way that you can navigate through. So again, that's the second URL on your brochure. And the brochure itself has the comprehensive listing of all of the things that are available through the National Library of Medicine.
So now we'll show you some demos. Kelly's going to demo a few things. So this is the time when we're going to show a couple of the apps and sites, but there is going to definitely be an opportunity for you. We have a couple iPads we can pass around toward the end. So now,
Okay.
I'm going to switch screens here because iPads are there.
Okay, so I have set up on my iPad a whole number of the resources that are available from the National Library of Medicine. And what I'd like to show is that site I was just telling you about, where I can go directly into the mobile sites or the apps. And so I'm going to click on websites. And then this is a listing of anything. And if I click on any of these, it'll launch it right from my device. So this is really a nice thing to have on, bookmarked on your device. So the first thing I'm going to show you is PubMed Mobile. This was the one that was in the video, and it's a very simple interface. You have a search box, and that's about it. The only other thing you can do is click on the link that says Standard PubMed, and that would take you to the full site. If you're using an iPad, that would be fine, but if you're on a phone, it's going to be really difficult to use. So I recommend Standard PubMed when you're on a computer or on a device with a bigger screen. It's much more powerful. And if you did want to do a search here, you would use this. It's very simple to use. But I'd also like to show you another PubMed tool, and it's called PubMed for Handhelds. Now, back in the day when people had PDAs instead of smartphones, this was the very first tool that NLM created, and it's really quite a powerful tool, and it is still useful today. So it hasn't gone away, and I hope that it doesn't. It just looks very rudimentary, but I'd like to show you what you can do with it. So the first thing I'll show you is the Pico search screen, and this is designed so that you can put in your keywords in any of these search boxes for the condition, the intervention, and if you want to see a comparison intervention, and then an outcome if you want. So basically you would fill in these search boxes, do your search, and it would bring up your results. Now it's not the most precise search, but it is definitely handy if you're, away from your computer. So this is one thing that you can do. I'm going to go back and show you a few other things. I tried the Ask Medline. You're able to actually ask a question in just natural language. It kind of works, but it might get you to some articles, and then you could redo your search with actual search terms and so forth. But what I would like to show you is the Search Medline PubMed. So I clicked on the Search Medline PubMed link, and on this page now we have a couple of options. We can do just a basic search in that top box, or we can use some filters, which would bring our search results, down a little bit and make them more precise. So the systematic reviews, or if I wanted to do a clinical query, and these are buttons at the bottom to narrow your search a little bit by therapy, diagnosis, etiology, and those kinds of things. But what I would like to show, I'll just do a quick search for some systematic reviews. Let's say that I have some patients. I would like to talk to my patients about maybe some behavioral changes that might reduce the risk for a certain condition. And so I'm going to search for AMD. I'm interested in macular degeneration and lifestyle risk behaviors and smoking. And so when I do this search, I get 15 results, which isn't a very large number. Pardon me. So what I can do here is I can take a look at all of the results and then see if anything is relevant. And if I like what I see, then I can click on the related button, which is going to give me other articles that are very much like the one that I'm interested in. But the other things I'd like to point out, down below this first, in fact, in all of these results, these citations, you see the links at the bottom. So we have TBL, which is the bottom line, and that's going to give us the synopsis of this review. So very quickly, you can look at the citation and then see what the conclusion is for that review. So it's pretty helpful. You can also see the abstract, full text if it's available, and then again, as I said, those related articles. Now, earlier Monica was talking about VPN, the virtual private network. I have set up VPN on this iPad, and what that does is it tells my iPad that I'm an authenticated user here at UCLA. So if I go into the full text article, if it is a subscription that Biomed has, it'll take me to the full text. So let's just take a look at this. Going to click on the full text button, and it has taken me to the subscription that we have where this journal resides. And so then I'm able to look at the abstract, and over on the right-hand side, I can get the PDF file. Somewhere in here is going to be, I can also view the full article in HTML, or get the PDF, or get the PDF here, and so on. So it's just a very quick way. You go in through PubMed for handhelds, you do your search. If you have VPN set up already, you're good to go. Now, if Biomed doesn't subscribe to it, you may or may not be able to get to the full text. It depends on if the publisher has made it available. I'm going to go back. I did mention the related articles link. So I only have 15 right now. But if I click on related, it's going to redo this search based on the subject headings that were associated with that article. And now I have 171. And I might be able to find, exactly what I'm looking for here. And then if I found one that was exactly right, I could redo that search again by clicking on the related. But it gives you an idea of how you can very quickly get to some full text materials. And so experiment with this when you get a chance. It's really a wonderful, wonderful tool. Okay, so going back, I did want to show you another tool, which is I really like going directly to this mobile app because it has everything from NLM right in it. And I'd like to show you Daily Med. This is a drug information database. It basically is all of the medication inserts that come with every medication required by the FDA. And if you know what those inserts look like, there are specific categories on each one. And this just takes all that information and it parses it out. So I'll do a search for a drug. I'm searching for warfarin. Oh, I must have misspelled it. I did. Okay. So I get 74 results, and I'm just going to click on one of these. This was the warfarin sodium tablet from Afina Pharma Solutions. So it'll have the prescription inserts for all of the different, pharmaceutical companies. And this is a particular one. Now you notice that right up top, there is the warning for warfarin. If there is a warning associated with a particular one, this will always appear right on the top. So that's good to know. It also has, you notice that we have links for several of these things that show up in the warning. Now I did look at a couple of other inserts earlier today where these were not hyperlinked. So it kind of depends on the information that comes from the company. But in this case, they did go ahead and make these links. So if you were looking for patient counseling information, you could just click here. On the ones where they're not linked, you would just scroll down because these are actually numbered. And I could just click on number 17, which then brings up the patient counseling information. If I were to go back and just look for the dosage and administration, I'm clicking on the little plus sign that's next to it. And this has a lot of information. You see that it's number 2, dosage and administration, but we have 2.1, 2.2, and so forth. So if I wanted specific information about what to do for a missed dose, then I would click that, and it brings up the information about what to do if there's a missed dose. So any questions about that? Okay, now I'm going to turn it over to Monica, and she'll show you a couple of the Biomed subscription databases. Market, it's more of an audience, would be health professionals, researchers, consumers, anyone with a need for authoritative health information. So it's going to depend on the audience and what their role is as to which resource will be the most interesting to them. But many of these resources are available if you have an internet connection. So people are accessing the National Library of Medicine resources from all over the world. We're finding out that the consumer health resources that are available in Spanish are, we're getting traffic from Europe, from South America, Central America, and of course the United States.
So earlier I spoke about some subscription-based resources. There's a UCLA library up at the top, but I'm gonna talk about Visual DX and Dynamid, which you may have already used on your personal computer. So first, I'm going to go to Visual DX. It's one of the easier ones to install. And hopefully everyone's over 18, but you can scroll through pictures at the top here, and then it's pretty handy. So here's just a brief example of that. So let's see. It takes a second sometimes for Wi-Fi. There we go. So you can just scroll down or type whatever you're interested in, or just on the right there's letters. If you forget what something's called, maybe you can just jump to P or something. So that is Visual DX. It's pretty powerful. So you can, again, meet with us one-on-one. We can kind of go through how to use it in depth. Dynamid is one that requires a couple steps. If you are downloading it on your app, as an app on your mobile device, you'll need the Dynamid app and the Skyscape app. Detailed instructions are online. And again, we're happy to meet with you. So let's see. So again, this is another one where you can scroll down or jump to a letter on the left, or type in something in the search field, and this is pretty powerful. So at the top right over here, there's like those little 3 lines. You can click on it, and you can just rather than scrolling through, you can just click on or press on one of these areas. So say I want to just go up to the top because I'm done reading about the treatment overview. Just click on there. It'll take a second, and it'll take us up there, and then so that's that general information. So this is a pretty popular one as well. So very briefly, just these 2, but we do license many more. And Kelly will now show you how to access full text through the library site.
Earlier we showed a screenshot of the UCLA mobile site, and it was a listing of the JAMA holdings that the UCLA library has. So I'm just going to go there and show you, if you didn't want to go through PubMed, you just wanted to look at the most recent contents, table of contents in JAMA, for example. So here we are at the library mobile site, and this, just if you can't see it up there, it's m.library.ucla.edu. So it's the regular library URL with an M period in front of it, and that's how you get there. So in this case, I'm going to click on the search area where it says Library Catalog, and that will bring up my search box. And this is where I would enter in either the title of a journal, if you were looking for a book, to see if the library owns something in their collection. And this is going to search the entire UCLA library. It's not just biomed, but you'll be able to get to these titles, if we have them here. It will tell you where they are. So in this case, I'm going to just do a very simple search for JAMA. And a couple of things you need to know about when you're doing this. It is pretty straightforward, but okay, so we've loaded all of these things that have the word JAMA somewhere in the title. And you notice there are little icons to the left. They look like a little stack of books and so forth. Some of the listings are going to look very similar, but I'd like to just point out a couple of things here. So I'm going to scroll up, and you notice that this one that's at the top right now, there's a little E in a red circle on the icon. And that means, it's either an ebook or some sort of an electronic resource. So I'm going to click on that one. And it takes just a minute to load. But so at first I was thinking, oh, this doesn't really tell me anything, but if you wait for just a minute, then you see how everything else popped up down at the bottom? That's what you need to wait for. So I'm going to scroll down, and what we're looking for here is at the bottom where it says View Online Resources, and that's the important thing if you're on your mobile device, because this will actually take you into the resource where you can get to full text. And at this point, remember you have to have VPN enabled, otherwise you're not going to get to the full text. But and actually I think I've lost my VPN connection. I might have to go back in and looks like I have. I don't know if it will or not. We could try it. We'll see if it works. Because I'm connected, I think I am connected through Bruin Online. So I also brought my Wi-Fi just in case. Okay, so it does not work, so I'm going to have to go back and re-enable my, let's see, is this one?
Oh, right, yes, I can do it.
Yeah, this one's yours.
We can actually, so it's in settings, I'm clicking on settings, and then I already have it installed, and it's your Bruin login ID, but I just have to turn that off on.
There, and I turned it on.
Very nice.
Okay. All right, so now we'll go back to where we were. Redo that search. And as soon as the rest of the record pops up, then I'll scroll to the one as soon as I can find it. I think it might have been the one right above the patient page, so I'll just click on that. Okay. All right, so now down at the bottom, when I view the online resources, it will take me and now I have to click one additional time. And it says it's restricted to UCLA. So this is one of the subscriptions that UCLA pays for. Now we have the page we want, because it doesn't say, oh, you can't get here without having the right authentication. So that's actually the beauty of having your VPN. So I'm just going to click on the very first one, the American Medical Association, and this will take me into the JAMA page, and we'll be able to look at the most recent. Basically, they'll give you all of the articles that are available, and you'll be able to just look at the table of contents and choose the articles you'd like. So, all right, so here we are. And I'm looking at the recent issues, so we have 2012, and even down at the bottom, the most recent issue is August 1st. So if I click on that, then it will bring up the table of contents and links to all of the articles. So it's just so handy. I mean, and you can do this on your phone. I'm not sure how many of you actually read PDF articles on your phone, but I've done it in a pinch. It's better on an iPad, but it actually works. And so you can then, if you have the PDF, you can email it to yourself as an example, and have the copy for yourself later. So if we were looking at any particular one that you were after, here's one that's a free article for anybody, but let's say we were interested in this article. I'll just click on the one about bacteremia. And it may take just a second to load the actual article. So there you are. Any questions on how we did that? That was going in directly through the UCLA mobile site. Very easy to access, and the only thing you have to have is VPN. You can also access the free full text articles that, there was the one free one. You could access that even if you didn't have VPN on your device. But
So that was a demo for now, and you will have an opportunity to play around with these. And Kelly's going to talk about some evaluation criteria, because there are apps on the market or others that you might be interested in downloading for your device as well.
And this is just very brief, but for any of you who, either if you have patients who are interested in the apps for their own health and fitness, or if you're looking at things to help them keep track of their blood pressure or whatever it is, I know there are some apps that help with medications and so forth. They're changing all the time. But for yourself, as you're looking at these, I mean, there are literally thousands of apps out there, and they're really very variable in the quality. So what you want to do is try to go for the known publishers. Any of the ones we've shown you, NLM, the Biomed subscriptions, you can trust those. They're all high quality. But when you get into the Google Play Store or iTunes, then it's really buyer beware or user beware. So just kind of think about if you were evaluating health information website. Is it accurate, current? Is there bias? Are they trying to sell you something? Think about the evaluation criteria you would use with any kind of a resource. And consider the risks. Is it a secure site? Often there will be a website where you can create an account, and then anything you do on your device will sync up, but check the privacy policy, check the security policy. Make sure it's something, if you're sharing information from your phone or your device, you want to make sure that you check out those policies first to know what you're getting into. You can also use tools like review sites. There's a great site called iMedical Apps, and it's on your yellow sheet. It's a way to keep current of what's happening in the medical app world, not only for consumer apps, but also for ones for health professionals. And it's a nice, in a blog format, it has some really great reviews. And look at the reviews by other users. If there's a real problem app, other users will say, this crashed my phone, it stole my personal data, So it's kind of user buyer beware.
And so we talked a lot about some sites today that you can access through your mobile device. This page is subject to change, as Julie mentioned earlier. We're undergoing some redesign. Actually, if you have feedback on how we can make it more user-friendly, that would be great. But in the meantime, this site, after you go to our homepage, which is on the guide, you can click on some of these. Some of these will recognize that your screen is smaller and consequently give you a mobile optimized site. But again, not many of them will, so just be aware of that. And we have a little time to talk about trends. So there's lots of apps right now, as we mentioned. So some journals are creating their own apps. For example, the Journal of the American Heart Association, Lancet, New England Journal of Medicine. These are all creating their own apps. For a lot of these, you have to pay your individual subscription for this app. However, since we do license these journals for you already, you just go through the site, as Kelly illustrated earlier, and you can get it for free because we already paid for it for you. So just if you want it for kind of just easy access on your pocket, you can go ahead and download, for example, the Lancet. But we're going to be aware that that's an individual subscription. So a lot of conferences and associations are also creating their own apps, so you can be up to date and see what's going on there. For example, the American Academy of Pediatrics has its own app. Governmental, apart from NLM, the USA.gov/, I think, mobile, it's on the live guide. But so the CDC has some apps that you can also install. There's also citation management apps. Some of you may be EndNote fans. We'll probably have a class in fall, but they are rolling out an iPad app in fall, so you can stay tuned for that. Some other sites or citation management tools already have apps. Mendeley has an app. Zotero is open source, so lots of developers create different apps for that. Also, these links are on the site as well, and there's a citation management tab. So, we'll let you play around in a second, but we do want to let you know how you can get in touch with us. If you like in-depth training or small group training, one-on-one, whatever you'd like, you can go ahead and email this email address. It's also up on the board and probably on your hand sheet. And then you can also go to our site and click at the top to contact us. You can also tweet at us or write on our Facebook page. So yeah, any comments or feedback or questions right now? We can go into exploration phase right now and pass out the iPads, but is there anything that you're still not sure about, or you want to have additional clarification right now? And again, you can email us questions as well, and we're happy to meet you one-on-one. So we can also email or upload the slides, and then video hopefully will happen. Mm-hmm. And so now is the time. You can pass around the 2 iPads we have. You can stick around. You're welcome to grab some lunch as well. And then, so we'll go ahead.
I was also going to ask, did you have anything you'd like to add? Anyone else from the library community like to add anything? What did we miss?
So there are several sites that are required by for our medical students to have on their mobile devices. One of them, Monica demoed this down in the other one is they're required to have some kind of drug resource. Usually they choose Hippocrates, which you're probably familiar with. But if you're a medical student, which I'm not sure there are many in this room, or have a MedNet ID, they are actually loading a site where you can comment on apps that you have on your phone, but only if you have a MedNet ID. That's available off of the UCLA David Geffen School of Medicine site.
Yeah, thank you.
About
exactly. And we have a link right here as well. But yeah, so that's great.
So Monica went into the tab on the guide that is additional resources, and then she was able to pull up these review sites that we talked about. And there's the third link is the one, the David Geffen School of Medicine app review. It looks like there are only a few in there right now, but
yeah,
that will, right. So that will be a great place to see, what people are using right here on campus. Yes.
And so where are the directions for setting up the VPN on the phone?
Okay, on the yellow sheet, you will go to the fourth link, which is this guide.
The first one.
Well,
Or
yes,
fourth
that's
tab.
true. Well, you're absolutely right, Julie. So the very first one takes you directly into how to set up VPN. And if you get stuck and you don't remember, you can also get to it through the guide that we created. The guide has all of the information, and the place that you find that is on Connect to Resources. So it has not only the VPN, but also tells you about Wi-Fi on campus, because there are several different ways you can access Wi-Fi right here on campus. And so the guide has kind of everything compiled for you. But hang on to this sheet too, because it has lots of good resources for you. The first one is the instructions on how to connect to VPN. What my experience has been, I have an Android phone and I have an iPad. And then my initial Android phone, I had to get a new one, so it had a new operating system. And then the instructions were a little bit different. So depending on your device, it's complicated. It can be complex when you're setting up these things. But if you have any trouble, on this first link, there's a help desk, or you can check with us here at the library. One way or the other, we'll get you set up. So.
And
Great
again, we
question.
only have like an hour, so there's lots on here. And if you have any questions about any link or anything on here, we're also obviously very happy to help you. So.
And we can demo anything else up here if you'd like to see a demo on the screen. We have 5 more minutes. So I know we only have a couple of iPads, but they're going around.
There's one there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Thank you very much for coming. Have a great
We are trying to get feedback on how the first Friday classes are going, and would love your input on what we could do to improve or what other topics we might